Wow, I'm already at cycle 42, which seemingly, I think, Momo, I think the extractor was actually your playthrough, this second one, and the machinist was my first one. And so I'm coming up on how many cycles I played in the first game. So this will be, now that we're getting to the DLC, all sorts of uncharted territory for me, which is very exciting. I did the thing I always do, which I ended the day with no dice so that I don't get distracted and just say one more day. Okay, so let's see what we've got left on the docket for Citizen Sleeper. I've got to enter the Greenway, which I've unlocked the Greenway gate with the code that we got from the navigator. And now we have to find a nurturing grow bed for the seed. We've got to fix the ambergris, which is, we got to find and key to a ship mind, which I think we can get. Oh, actually, we've got enough ship mind fragments. We can do that. We need to bring mushrooms to the Briar, which is the flotilla filled with refugees that I'm going to be helping out. And then I've got to get to know Emphas by bringing him some Matsutake caps, which we've been collecting a lot of mushrooms lately, which is wonderful. We got to find money for Bliss. I don't know where we're going to get 100 credits, because honestly, right now, we're like really good on food, but stabilizer and money has been a little tight. We're going to help Rico's experiments grow. So now we've got to grow those club heads. I think we gave Rico 2. And then help complete the Sidereal Horizon. That's a big one. That's a lot of ticks for that clock. And then work for Rabia, which we're getting pretty close to completing that clock, I believe. So we dealt with the tracker in our head. We have done all of the stuff, as far as I understand, for Fang and getting out Conway from the Eye. And then Fang dealt with our tracker, which means that Ethan was no longer a problem. And I really wonder how else that story can go, because Ethan, it sort of implied that other stuff could happen with Ethan. I did not help him pay off his debt. And then it seems like he skedaddled. So I almost feel a little guilty, and I would feel more guilty if he hadn't been such an absolute prick to me repeatedly. But, you know, honey and vinegar. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Nos. And the little throw I forgot about. I forgot that I set it up that anytime somebody follows me, it throws a plushie at me, which is the little sound cue that helps me know that it happened. Appreciate that. Let's see, where are we at with Rabia? Oh, we're almost Yatagan insiders. That's great. Okay, let's go sleep in our empty container. Maybe eventually we will, you know, we'll have a home. I mean, we can sleep at the commune, which is nice. I've got that going for me, which is nice. And then let's end the cycle, because luckily, actually, I forgot that instead of stabilizer, I got the ability to repair myself with scrap components. That's huge. And we've got plenty of scrap components. Okay. You know, not terrible rolls. Not excellent rolls, but not terrible. I think let's fabricate a ship mind. And let's complete the stuff with Rabia, I think. I'm curious. I mean, a complete positive here would be excellent and probably complete the task. Oh no, just one. But hey, extra scrap components. I don't mind that at all. Okay. What's Rabia gotta say? Also, I was like editing the last episode and realized that I'd been calling Rabia Rabin because I had combined Sabine and Rabia in my head for the longest time, and I was like, Sabine and Rabine? That can't be right. But I kept on referring to her as Rabine. Viewer, it was not right. Apologies for my faulty memory chips. This time you meet inside Rabia's office, although, now that you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit midway through a sequence of stretches. There are 2 low stools and a terminal in the corner, but it seems that most of the space is taken up by a heavy punching bag, rubber matting, and a stack of weights. When Rabia turns to greet you, you realize she is missing an arm. The prosthetic she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal, a web of colored wires running to it. Updates, she says, noticing you looking where her artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with. Of course. Sit, says Rabia, gesturing to the 2 diminutive stools. You both settle on the stools, Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight-backed. Gia told me you have been doing the rounds, collecting tithes, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. I wanted to see for myself. She raises an eyebrow. See what for yourself? Ooh, these are all good options. How a gang operates, if the stories are true. If I can trust you. I think that's the realist. I see. Rabia flexes her neck side to side, and the conclusion? Still deciding. Well, sleeper, Rabia says teasingly. Please keep us updated on any progress. She smiles a thin smile. Joking aside, I know that for you, life on the Eye has been a struggle, but I hope we can do something about that from here onwards. Though some of our members may not see it this way. I know you too are a refugee, she says, looking at you solemnly. That is why you have come to us. Actually, I guess kind of. I don't have access to the medicine that I need to make my body live, and you have that. Enough, Rabia. Sabine's voice cuts through the conversation. I am tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room, Rabia's baton in their hand, the end lit with sparking electricity. Rabia looks between the 2 of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you 2? She looks strangely unfazed. No, Sabine did not ask me about this. No, they're acting alone. Sabine pauses, thrown off for a moment by your renunciation. Rabia takes this opportunity to act. She leaps from the stool and, fainting past Sabine, grabs the baton and twists it inwards. She is by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to their knee. Plunging the crackling end of the baton towards their chest, they freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Stop! Then you support them? Rabia asks you, her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalties are so easily swayed. I thought you were more of Yannick's attack dog, Rabia. Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabia holds the baton strong, and for a moment you think she's about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest. But, after a painful wait, she throws Sabine down instead, and then spins the baton in her hand, thumbing a switch and shutting it off in a single move. Now what? They both look at you, each still catching their breath as if they had forgotten about your presence. Rabia cracks her neck. You were lucky I didn't kill you. I would have had every right, she shouts, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts themselves a little, bruised from the fall. They roll onto their side and cough. Rabia gives them some space, sitting back on the stool. Sabine props themselves up on their elbows and fixes Rabia with a hard stare. You have something to say? Rabia taunts. Say it. This is your final opportunity, because after this, she laughs. No coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. You refuse to listen to criticism of the Great Yatagan Project. Or she refuses to listen. Rabia collects herself. Speak. She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Sabine takes a breath, organizing their thoughts. They go to start, pause, then decide on another approach. Eventually they say it. Yannick is a traitor. Rabia immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them. At least for now. When I came here from Essenarp, they glance at you, gauging your reaction. It was Yannick who was one of the first to support me, to look after me. I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you. Sleeper. They take a breath. I know I should have told you I worked for Essenarp long ago, but I thought you would abandon me and you were my final friend. What you should know is that I left Essenarp because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the Sleeper program, on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on, to the press. Essenarp wanted me dead, and I fled as far as I could to this refuge at the edge of the surrogate systems. Sabine stops to collect themselves. What does this have to do with Yannick? Rabia interrupts. The Sleeper knows you are Essenarp. I told them. And while you hide beneath the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the Sleeper program. Yannick told me as much. Sabine's face falls. It is true. They glance at you and then away, ashamed. They lift their head, but it is Yannick, not me, who is in the pocket of Essenarp. Rabia flinches again. I can prove it. He made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away. In exchange, Rabia slams her hand on the desk. Just tell us, for God's sake. In exchange for those, she finishes, nodding towards Rabia's prosthetic arm in its cradle. He has been using Yatagan enforcers, using you as test subjects for Essenarp technology. I have the data to prove it. He's been bringing them in under the guise of stolen shipments and having me fit them, knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabia's fixed expression has started to fade. Sabine produces a slate. It's all here. Thousands of hours of usage data, failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabia. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have. Sabine suddenly looks incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen or modified. I tried to fix hundreds of failures in my time here. Not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabia closes her eyes and breathes in, then she opens them again. She holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later, when you leave, Sabine is still taking Rabia through the manifests and the usage data, both of them crowded around the terminal as Sabine leads Rabia through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye and something passes between you. Something like a thank you or a sorry or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Ooh. I really like those two as like foils for one another. Oh, and I've got 3 upgrade points. Oh my goodness. Reroll all of your dice once per cycle is extremely strong. But I kind of love the idea of having a +2 in engage. So that was my first skill and I wanted to be a bit of a meathead on this playthrough, so having a +2 seems very good. All right, let's bring the shipmind core to the ambergris. I only know how to pronounce that word because of that Bob's Burgers episode in which they find ambergris on the beach. And it's like, okay, a slight like trigger warning for just gross stuff. Ambergris is like hardened whale vomit that has an extremely strong, potent aroma that is used a lot in like perfumes and stuff. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's this gross thing that is then used for all of these lovely things. And I find that interesting. I wonder what that says about Ankita, that that's what she named her ship. You drop the shipmind core into the galley table with an emphatic bang. Ankita spins around from where she has been poring over some documents on her slate. Holy shit, Sleeper. Did you actually land a shipmind? She rushes over and hefts the huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit. This might actually work. She smiles wider than you have ever seen. Where did you get it? I built it. Built it? Well, you are full of surprises. Ankita bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The Sleeper got you a new shipmind. The sounds echo down the ship's passage. You have to admit, being in a small space with Ankita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Ankita puts the shipmind back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting her as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back towards the counter to grab her slate. This isn't the only good news today either. Looks like my good karma is finally coming on. She throws the slate onto the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see the list of names and numbers, nothing that exciting, along with what looks like a transit timetable. I found them. Found who? My crew. She points at the name on her list. Or, more specifically, Ashton Kaede. Kaede? I'm gonna probably pronounce this like, this looks like a Japanese last name, so Kaede. Something like that. It was his pass that was used to access Amber and slice the shipmind. I thought he might have been killed or robbed, his pass stolen. It turns out, he crossed the Founder's Gap the very nice cycle. How did you know? I know some of the crew over at the ferry, old mercs, used to run in an outfit I worked with. I saw them in the Overlook, and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. I checked the manifest, and there he was. Looks suspicious. He hasn't said a word out since the theft, and anyone wanting to hide out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. She flexes. He won't get far, though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple of jetties in the wastes. So, what now? Now I fit the shipmind. That's my first priority. She pauses, but maybe you could help me out? Where's this going, Ankita? It's like this. I head over there, especially in Amber, and he'll spot me a mile off and go underground. He'll find a way to slip in the station, or he'll bury himself so deep in the wastes no one will ever find him. But you, Ashton doesn't know you. All I need for you is to go there and sniff around, not at the commune, not the stacks. He will have gone to the edges, the margins, the wild places. That's what Ashton's likes. You see him, you locate him, ping me on this. She hands you a comm earpiece. Seeing as this is merc work, I'll be happy to give you merc pay. She shifts in her seat. Thing is, I haven't got much left. So, how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? I know it ain't much, but once I grab this coward, I'll pay up. 200 cryo, nothing less. What do you say? Ankita, I don't know how to tell you this. I've been across the gap for cycles. Now, I've probably spent 20 days at the commune. Not sure. She stands up quickly. I'm not asking for charity. This is a contract. Take it or leave it. She lifts the shipmind up onto her shoulders with worrying ease. I'm going to get this fitted in Amber's core. You get any info, any sense of where Ashton is hiding, and let me know. She goes to turn and then stops. And once again, thank Sleeper. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Kita stomps off into the guts of Amber with the ship mind, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, a sudden nervous energy descending as to what is to come. You never thought you'd get work as a mercenary, but then again, it seems the eye is full of surprises. I don't remember if that was the voice I gave Amber or Ankita before. I think I made her slightly more gruff before, but I wanted to differentiate her from Rabia, who had a pretty similar voice. So I was like, let me give it just a little bit of twang, which, yeah, I know some people don't love, but it comes out naturally in my voice sometimes in a way that I never really expect, because I'm not from the South, but I've been asked by people from Georgia if I was also from Georgia, and that always struck me as very funny, just because of like the light kind of like situation my voice will go into sometimes. Let's see, do I want Intuit or do I want interface to go look for Ashton? I've also got other options. I need to get more spores is the thing. Yeah, I need to collect some spores. Let's do that. And then I guess I'll use these ones to get some to hack the planet. Oh man, doing a like a community watch along of hackers would be very fun. I think it's 1995 film Hackers, starring like a young Angelina Jolie and oh man, what's the name? Matthew Lillard. It's got a young Matthew Lillard in it as well, the guy who plays Shaggy in the live action Scooby-Doo movies. He plays like a young hacker as well. That movie rules. It's such a fun watch. They like hack government offices and buildings using payphones, which is apparently like a real thing. Like you used to be able to hack using actual payphone lines because of like the way that like dial-up tones and stuff worked and the way that phone lines were connected to the internet. And I just find that it's so fascinating. I'm just always selling data to the highest bidder. Oh, welcome back, Nas. I was just talking about the 1995 movie Hackers, which is a wonderful film. I was talking about how much fun it would be to do like a little watch along inspired by that. Because that it's got young Angelina Jolie and Matthew Lillard from the live action Scooby-Doo movies, and they're always like doing just wild things. It's really fun. Let's stay at the commune. Wait, the Haifa dorm. All right, I need more spores, and then we're gonna hunt down Ashton as well. Get my mushroom colony up and running. Ooh, wow, 4444. I'm sure there's probably some like culture where that's either a lucky or unlucky thing, much like 666. Let's get these spores. Nice. Okay, and now I can plant those at the aviary. Grow my fungal beds. The moist corners of the aviary make the perfect beds for the spores. Once they're filled, they can be left to grow. You extract the spores from the sample print and mix with water, then inject them with the prepared mulch. It is precise work. I really hope I get some more of those club caps, club head caps. Because I think it's a random chance as to what mushrooms you get back from the mushrooms growing. And it takes quite a while. Yeah, it takes 4 days, which is quite a bit of time. So in the meantime, I guess let's go out and find Ashton. You notice a spike of activity. A vast transfer of information is taking place. What is happening out there? Track him down. Oh, nice. And I got a good amount of money from selling all that data, too, so I'll be able to afford some food, which is, you know, always helpful. Always helpful to be able to afford a delicious mushroom meal. Ooh, hey, wow. Okay, we completed the clock. The trail ahead extends deep into the overgrown section of the greenway. At this far end of the ring, where the long, lazy curve of the greenway becomes the shattered landscapes of the waste, things are oddly quiet. Ahead stands a vast farm stack, broken from its access by rust or force, and lying amongst the overgrown landscape like an ancient temple. It is stained with moss and algae, flows of green running out from its broken tanks like a frozen brackish tide. Oh, brackish is such a good word. This is where Ashton is hiding. You are pretty sure. All your intuition points to the shadows beneath this collapsed superstructure. You roll the comm headset Ankita gave you in your palm. Now listen, Ankita seems out for blood. And I feel like I want to get a better understanding of what's going on here before I call Ankita. But what if she's following me, right? Because she seems paranoid. And then if I go and don't call her, then she's going to be angry with me too. Oh, I don't know if there's a good answer here. Because like this thing that she gave me to like call her could just be a tracking device, right? She could actually just be tracking me. I'm gonna call Ankita. I'm gonna try and bring her in on this so I can talk her down. You slip the headset into your ear and it fizzes with static. After a few moments, you hear Ankita. Sleeper, have you located the target? A doubt enters your mind. Can you be sure he's there? Well, I don't know for sure, so... No, hold. A confused silence on the other end. Maybe it is better that you confirm that Ashton is there before you call in Ankita. Oh no. Oh no, I've messed it up. Remove headset. You put the headset back in your pocket. Not yet. You need confirmation. You survey the route ahead. There is a direct route, a line of broken pillars that take you into the center of the structure. Or you could skirt around the pillars, keeping to the cover of the raised spine of the greenway, and work your way around. It'll take longer, but it's better concealed. Ooh. I'm going to take the direct route, because now I've called Ankita, and now I'm wondering if now she's gonna... I think I might have messed this up. We'll see. Direct route. Just plow ahead. You decide on the direct route and set off down the slopes towards the first pillar. There's a thin track here, either an old service way that has become overgrown or a new path made by those passing through. Ahead, the vast farm stacks glows a little, some of its grow lights still functioning despite the decades since the collapse. The first shot rings out when you reach the pillar. It ricochets off the hard metal and rattles the undergrowth beside you, spraying up a burst of dirt. Take cover. You tuck yourself behind the pillar as a second shot zings off it, the sound echoing through the leaves. You don't dare check to see the shooter or for another hiding place. You just curl up and tremble in fear. What the hell are you doing out here, under fire? How did things end up like this? It's time to call a professional. You shakily slot the headset into your ears and static starts up and Kita speaks. Sleeper? I'm under fire. You're what? You hear the sound of something being slammed. Hold on. The line goes dead. You drop the headset and tuck yourself further in, hoping Ashton isn't moving to get a better shot. A couple more shots sound out before the greenway goes silent. The wait is painful. Dare not move. After what feels like a long time, you hear a noise from the undergrowth. Sleeper! Hold there, don't move. She's crouched nearby, out of line of sight. You shooting from the stack? I think so. Quietly now, Sleeper. She meets your eye. Just come across the gap to me, quick and low. Don't be scared. Go. You take a moment, then you go, fast and low. Like Ankita said, you reach her without a single shot being fired. Good, says Ankita when you get to her. Seems like he's moved. We'd better go now, or we'll lose him. She sets off fast without looking back. You try to keep up, reminded of your first encounter in the docks. You laugh a little to yourself at the absurdity of the situation, from following Ankita through the dock to following her into a gunfight. She turns and hisses for you to be quiet. Up ahead, there is a faint glow from the collapsed stack. Ankita leads you around the side to a broken tank. You both step through the opening, trying to avoid the broken glass that sits among the moss and algae. You work your way up the slanted tank, Ankita setting a deliberate pace. Somewhere, water drips, and you swear you hear birdsong. Hanging plants catch the light, coating the place from pale and sickly green. Ankita reaches the edge of the tank where it meets the central drum and holds up a hand for you to stop. You inch forward and look over the edge. The vast drum is like a cistern, with plants growing on all sides and wet, mossy islands at its base. It is beautiful, and for a moment you can't see anything but tones of green. Then you see the sleeper. Excuse me? Sleeper? In a faint circle of light descending down through the drum, the sleeper lies slumped at an odd angle. They are surrounded by crates, and beside them, on a mossy island, there is an object. A cylinder set on a tarp. It is connected to the sleeper's head. You flinch. Are they one of the others? One of the ones that escaped with you? You squint, trying to recognize them. They are twisted, broken up, wrong. You look away. Ankita doesn't look at you. She doesn't look at the sleeper. She fixes her eyes on the object. That's Amber's ship mine, she says, and you suddenly recognize the cylinder. Wait. You turn to Ankita to speak, but she's already gone. She drops off the edge of the tank and lands on one of the mossy islands, her armor letting out a hiss as it absorbs the impact. The shot hits her shoulder piece, the ceramic armor cracking but holding as she braces into the impact. Then she launches herself forward, the now activated armor launching her across the drum. Another shot goes wide before she reaches the cover of the crates besides the sleeper. Shit! You hear the shout from one of the tanks high up on the far wall. Ankita reaches over and wraps a hand around the thick connection between the ship mine and the sleeper. What is she doing? You better come down here, I'll rip this right out of their head. She screams at the wall of tanks. You shiver at the suggestion. Stop! Quiet, sleeper, Ankita shouts. A shot rips through the moss beside you, filling your vision with green. The shooter must be somewhere over on the other side of the tank. Do that again, and I swear to God, I will tear their head off. Ankita shouts at them. Sleeper, you stay down. There's a long pause. All you can hear is the dripping of the water running down the walls of the drum. Then Ashton calls out. I'm coming down, Ankita. Don't do anything stupid, for God's sake. He appears at the far side of the drum, stepping through the shallow water, rifle raised above his head. Drop the gun, Ankita shouts. He throws it down into the moss. As you lean out to watch, you see him catch your eye, clocking your presence. What are you doing up to, what are you up to here, Ashton, you sicko? She stands, keeping her sidearm trained on his head. You ripped my ship mine for what? Some freakish experiment? Ashton approaches with shaky hands, his eyes now fixed on the connecting bundles of wires that Ankita still has hold of. Steady, Ankita. It isn't like that. I needed the ship mine. You have to understand. They would have died without it. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit why you ripped my ship mine and crippled my ship. I should put you down right now. She tightens her grip on the connection. Typical of you, Ankita. No curiosity. Ashton smiles shakily. That's why I never asked for it. For your help. You only look after yourself. He nods at you. That sleeper out there. They're just bait, right? To draw me out? Ankita sucks in a breath. Are you trying to give me more reasons to shoot you? I love them, Ankita. Ashton looks at the crumpled sleeper. I love them, and they were going to die. I knew you would never understand that. He starts closing the gap between himself and Ankita, now slowly inching forward. Don't do that, Ashton. Ankita snarls. Don't do that. Let the wires go, Ankita. Let us go. If you don't get out of my way. He inches closer. Please. I can't let you take it, Ashton. Ankita hardens her stare. You stole it from me. You left me for dead. She shakes her head. Do you think I'm going to trust you? After all that? I need it, Ankita. I need them to survive. Ashton is in reach of the sleeper now, of Ankita. I'm going to take them now, Ankita. He raises a hand. I'm going to take the ship mine and go. Ankita loosens her grip on the connection a little. Her hand is shaking now. Stop, Ashton. She lowers the gun a little. Stop. Seeing her drop her guard, he makes his move. A blur of movement, a struggle, a shot, another. You recoil back behind the edges. They ricochet around the inside of the drum, the sound deafening you. When you crawl back up to the edge, Ashton is bleeding into the water, the red and the green. Ankita is standing at the center of the drum, the severed connection in her hand. The water drips endlessly. Drip after drip after drip. You force yourself to look at the broken sleeper. There's no sign of life, of humanity. They are just another broken object, among other broken objects, all around. Living things grow and thrive. Ankita finally looks back up at you, tears in her eyes. She begins to say something that might be sorry. But you are already gone. Well, shit. I feel like that could have gone better. Oh man, I wonder if I really did mess that up by calling her. If I should have just gone in from the beginning. But then when I was getting shot at, I probably would have needed to call her in anyway. Oh. That feels bad, man. I wanted to know if I could save them. I got Ankita her ship mined and everything. For what? Oh, I need some mushrooms. Not like, just to eat, not the drug kind. I mean, that might help my sleeper too, I don't know. I imagine my sleeper just like walking back, practically disassociating after like a moment like that. Falling asleep back in this old empty container. Not even wanting to be in the greenway right now because the green itself feels haunted and a reminder of what he just watched. Oh, that has to be able to go a different way, right? That's tragic. I'm taking deep breaths after that one. Nikita, can I just get my money from you and leave? I've got a non-binary engineer that I can give that money to. Also, Nikita already had a ship mind. Didn't need a second one. Oh, wow. Nikita is away. Amber is docked here at her rickety old jetty, but she's sealed up. A note says, "Sleeper, stay. I'll be ready soon." I don't know if I'll be ready, Nikita. I don't know if I'll be ready. Alright, well, I gotta wait for those shrooms to grow. And in the meantime... how do I find a nurturing grow bed for that seed? There's nothing here for that. I guess the last thing I can do... well, I mean... everything else is on timers right now, so I might as well go help construct the side reel. See if I can actually get Lemon Mina out of here. Try and help someone at least. Oh, hey, at least I get some decent cryo out of this too. Ooh, I'm reeling. I'm side reeling, horizoning after that scene with Ankita and Ashton. I didn't think I would have so much fun reading this stuff out loud and like doing character voices. I never really do character voices typically. Like even when I play D&D, I like do very, very, very light character voices, barely anything. But it's been a lot of fun kind of giving all the different characters a little bit more personality. I've never been an actor. I have a terrible memory, and so it makes memorizing lines really difficult. But reading like this, where it's like just already on the page, has been very fun. Of just like, I don't have to remember it. I can just read what's right here. Let's see. Oh, I have 100 credits now. I can go help Bliss, actually. I can give Bliss some extra cash. Bliss's Bay. Scam or an opportunity? Bliss seems solid enough, and this might be your best bet to get best chance to get in on the hub's repair trade. Partnered with Bliss. Okay, a 3-day clock there. Bliss is bidding on jobs at the hub. It'll take a few cycles and some perseverance before one comes in. It always takes some perseverance to find work in my experience. Alright, and then let's also get a few more shrooms. #1 fungus fan. I I want a t-shirt that says that. That's just got emphasis face on it. It says #1 fungus fan. Take a little sip of water. Important to stay hydrated. Wow, these are some good rolls. Let's see, is anyone ready to talk? Rabia's ready to talk. As you enter Rabia's office, you hear voices. Is that Sabine? You push open the door. Sleeper! What good timing. Rabia calls out as you enter. I wanted to introduce you to someone. The man is standing at the center of the room, speaking quietly with Rabia. He turns as you come in. Meet Yannick. So this is the traitor. This is the guy who's selling out everyone in Yatagan to Essenarp. Sleeper. He nods. Been hearing good things from Raby. I guess that's how you know. Robbie? Robbie. He smiles an easy smile. Good to meet you. Likewise, likewise. He waves a ringed hand. Now, Robbie, where were we? Actually, Rabia places a hand on your shoulder. Sleeper was what I wanted to talk to you about. She doesn't spare you a look. What is going on? Well, okay then. Yannick tucks his hand into his pockets. Go on. I'd like to recommend them to your ward. A tiny pause. They have shown themselves to be a capable ally here on the spoke side, but we have more than enough to run our territories. I hear the main block is proving more difficult. Yannick leans forward slowly. It's a mess, Robbie. He waits, his tinted glasses shimmering despite a lack of light in the unit. I can use them, he suddenly decides. Rabia smiles. Good to hear. I can immediately. Yannick cuts her off with a raised hand. 1 second. He steps one surprisingly light step closer too. You eager to work, Sleeper? Yeah? Yannick nods his head as if listening to music. Okay then. You suddenly are unsure if he's talking to you. Yeah, because he's got like digital implants that's like keeping him in communication with Essenarp, probably. Because he's got all the implant stuff that Essenarp was talking about, that Sabine was saying that Essenarp implanted on everyone, I should say. That concludes it, Yannick pronounces. Sleeper can come work in the ward, anytime they like. You shoot Rabia a confused look. Rabia finally glances at you for a moment, but it is so fast you almost miss it. Good. I know you'll be happy with their work, Jan. Yannick reaches out and squeezes her shoulder. Sure, Ruby. He says, no, please. He says, turning to face you. Let us old friends get back to it. He guides Rabia away and leaving you standing alone. You look to Rabia, but she is deep in conversation, and so, stunned and confused, you leave. Huh. So now I can go work in Yannick's ward, and I have to gain Yannick's trust, okay. But I've got a +2. Oh, this is gonna be so easy. Yeah, I mean, why don't I just fill that on up? Let me see if, who else wanted to talk? Does Ankita still need some time? Yeah, she still needs a day to gather her thoughts and feelings about murdering 2 people in cold blood. After I had already got her a new ship mind. I'm not upset. I'm not salty. I'm just, you know, speaking truth. At least mine. The massive block at the center of the low end is made up of layers and layers of units. Patrolling this vertical city is a challenge. Yannick is a strange character, but seems to understand the value of hard work. You'll gain his trust with time. Factories, restaurants, surgeries, schools, the layers of the block are rich with stories and problems to solve. You are starting to learn them all. I got 6s on 6s, so let's fill up this clock. And it's filling me up with energy. I'm a thrill seeker. Oh, and then it zapped me of that energy. Oh, I'm 1 short. Dang. Okay, I guess let's just fill it all up. There we go. Wow. It said I would earn his trust with time, but sometimes that amount of time is an afternoon. You almost laugh when you see it. The same small recorder, stuck to a different wall this time. Written across the fluorescent tape is a familiar word. Sleeper. You grab it quickly. Rabia says sorry. Sabine's voice sparks up once again. She said she didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you've got the play by now. Earn his trust. Work the block. Then we need you to get into his office. A pause. It's risky, but obviously you are the only one of us he doesn't already know. Either way, we need to locate the link to SNARP. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabia says, be careful. Sabine continues. The data suggests there are some relay processing the implant data and sending it to SNARP, but we can't lock down its position. Either he is moving it, or it's moving itself, or it is rerouting through other relays? We can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details on it in his office. Once he trusts you, he should be able to get close enough to get in the office. You'll only get 1 shot. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end this. A pause. Good luck, Sleeper. I'm sorry too. Be safe. The recording clicks off, leaving you in silence. You pocket the recorder, just in case, and walk away. Looks like it's up to you. Yeah, I mean, why don't we just get him to admit it? We've got that recorder in our pocket. Ooh. Yannick has asked you to collect his medicine from his office. Now is the only chance to find that SNARP relay. Except I don't actually have dice right now, so I will not be able to do it. Go spend the night in our little shack. Surely there's got to be another home on this side that's not just a metal container, right? Okay, first, let's go talk with Ankita. Then we'll handle the Yannick stuff. You spot Ankita on the track to the farm stack. On the track to the farm stack. She has a box on her shoulder and is working her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. Stay silent. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly, I am. She looks down. I am sorry you ended up in the middle of this, when all you have shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna forgive her. I'm not gonna say it's okay. If anything, I might say I forgive you, but I'm not gonna say it's okay. Because it's not okay. That sleeper, that... She stares at the floor. I'm sorry. She looks up and away, not meeting your eye. What you did I don't know if it's unforgivable, but it's also not okay. So I lean closer to it being unforgivable. She looks at you. I understand. Ankita shifts the weight on the box on her shoulder. I've been preparing for... She grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if... If what? You see it. She finishes. Just down the way. Ankita leads on. Down the dirt path between the pillars. There's a winding passing through the green... there's a wind passing through the greenway. A quirk of the air currents the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try not to think of the last time you were here. You've been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted open, connected to the ship mind, has been hard to forget. You realize Ankita is leading you back there, back to the drum at the center of the stack. You pause, trembling a little at the threshold. She turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up at the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with flickering grow lamps. You look down at Ankita, suddenly so small under this hulking ruin, the smallest she has ever looked. She places the box down. I mean, I'll see it through. Let's follow her in. You follow Ankita into the stack, through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It is just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you. Instead, you check the apertures of the tanks for glint of a weapon or a shadow among the moss. Ankita stops and you look down. The mossy island at the center of the tank is cleared now. The equipment cleared away. In its place is a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt at the grave's head. I buried them together, Ankita says without turning. You both stand there in silence for a little while. You think of questions you could ask. About Ashton. About the sleeper. How long did you know him? She takes a moment to respond, and for a moment you think she won't. But then the words start gushing out. He signed on a while ago. He used to run recon for a corporate outfit, but he got sick of the pay. He joined the crew as a sniper, and the first few jobs were a breeze. He was so cold, disconnected. He always hit his marks. The last few jobs, though, he was different. I noticed that. We'd had a period of extended shore leave on the eye, and when he came back, he was changed. I assumed he'd just had too much time off. He was right. I never would have given him the ship mine. I wouldn't have believed him. I've had crew members double-cross me, undercut me, rat me out. That's the business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are. This is how we die. Alone. She stops, not sure of what to add. It seems like she is reaching for something, but she can't quite get there. You feel the gap between you, and as you do, it widens. The water drips. The moss trembles. You both stand in silence for a while longer. You both feel it, life creeping back in, the silence ending. Ankita shifts under her weight, and then starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open space of the greenway, to be away from this place. Forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Ankita from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something to say, but you can't. Ankita puts a hand on your shoulder. You turn back to her. At least take this. She forces a handful of cryochits in your hands. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the metal bars. Ugly little things, you think. Oh. I mean, I've already got the 100 for Bliss, but you never know. I feel like my sleeper specifically wouldn't drop them. He would clench them, almost like trying to crush the little metal bars in his hand, just angry at himself, but also not being able to let go in this moment. So I'm gonna take the chits. You take the chits and turn without saying a word. You continue up the track, and she does not follow. As you walk up the rise, the wind picks up and the leaves shudder. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. The chits are heavy in your pockets, and you hate them for reminding you of how little a life is worth. I almost like the idea of getting the instant karma upgrade, but it's almost like, or like it should be bad now that I've done this kind of like tragic act. All right, and we still got a few days until Bliss is ready, I think. Yeah, one more day. So let's go steal Yannick's SNARP relay. I mean, hey, I've got that 6. You spot the countermeasure on the drawer moments before you touch it. This has to be it, but you can't rush it. You look at the countermeasure on the drawer. It looks like some kind of shock trap. If you grabbed the drawer, you'd likely have thousands of volts running through your system right now. You wince. Once you find the anchor points, it comes away easily enough. You prise it from the drawer quickly and quietly, then listen for the footsteps in the corridor outside. Nothing. All clear for now. You slide the drawer open, looking for other countermeasures that might be inside, expecting to see a chunk of tech, the relay. But as you slip it open, all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. Is this some kind of mistake? You freeze for a moment, unsure of what to do next. Why keep an implant cradle so carefully guarded? You remember Yannick having an implant, a small plate on the side of his head, just above his ear. You assumed it was just for hearing or vision. Those shimmering glasses of his come back to your memory, his strange movements, his speech. You look again at the cradle and there it is, printed on the frame. Proprietary technology, property of SNARP. Rabia said the relay moved, that they couldn't get a fix on it. What if Yannick was the relay? The thought hits you like a shock. Yannick, with a remote relay implanted in his head, networked to every single implanted enforcer in the low end. A shudder runs through you. Is he even in control? Or has SNARP wormed its way into the man? Could he even be considered separate from the corporation itself? You think of your own legal status as proprietary technology, a puppet with cut strings. Time to cut Yannick's strings, then. You reach around inside the cradle and find it, a remote connection, a tiny bead of a transmitter, likely controlling the link to SNARP. There it is. You pause for a moment, then you squeeze it, snap it from the frame, and it crumples, sparks, and dies. It takes a moment before the shouts come, before the scream, and you are already on your way out, down the corridor, down through the unit that serves as the lobby to Yannick's office. Then out onto the walkway where Yannick lies still. Enforcers gather around him, bemused. I mean, it feels a little cruel to approach, but I am morbidly curious. You push through the crowd and there he is, still crumpled. You arrange him a little, lie him down properly, feeling how thin his body is under his suit. You wonder how long he has been like this, a puppet for SNR. With the connection cut, nothing remains but his body, which means that Yannick the man was gone a long time before now. You place a hand on his chest. You are sorry for him, but it is done now, and you did not kill this man. You've seen enough. The connection is cut, and whatever Yannick was, or had become, is gone. Your anger is a hard core in your chest, and all of it is focused on SNR. Oh man, I mean, and that's tough because what had he become? How different was it from a sleeper in that way? That he was being controlled and puppeted and like almost like a networked human mechanical drone being controlled by that company. How different is that than the sleeper that was torn and twisted that Rabia cut off? I think my sleeper is going to go work on a ship to take his mind off of some things. Just welding away. Progress is a daily grind, but every weld brings the sidereal horizon closer to completion. The sense of scale can be exhausting. Honestly, I get it. That's how I feel about that current illustration I'm working on Mondays. When I'm doing my art streams, I'm like, I love getting closer to being done with it, but man, the scale of that painting is daunting and can certainly feel exhausting at times. Okay. Time to have a little food. Just walking limp, hollowed-eyed after what a day it's been. To eat some mushrooms. And then I think my mushrooms should actually be grown at the end of this. Ooh, those are not good rolls. Oh, it's Bliss's assistant, Mortiz. Or no, Moritz. Hey. A quiet voice greets you as you leave. Sleeper, it's me. I met this guy once in passing weeks ago. Who? Moritz. He pauses. I work for Bliss? He rubs the back of his head. You are not an easy person to find. Yeah, I don't really have an address. Morris holds up his hands. Hey, no judgment. It's cool. But you both stand there for a moment, each waiting for the other to speak. What's up, Moritz? Yeah, well, Bliss needs you. A job came in, a really big one. She's asking for you to come up and help her out. He nods sagely. Yeah, I'll be right there. Nice, yeah. Moritz stands there for a little while, unsure if the message is delivered. I've got it. Cool. He looks around. Bliss just likes me to do a thorough job, you know? He rubs his hands together before burying them in his jacket pockets. See you, sleeper. Moritz ambles off down the corridor, kicking at a filter cap on his way out. Time to head to Bliss's Bay then. Okay. I feel like this is bad rolls for a big day at Bliss's Bay. Let me also take a look, because I think harvesting mushrooms takes dice too, doesn't it? And they're ready. Yeah, they are. And I want some good ones, so I'm gonna use my best dice on getting some mushrooms, because of course I am. Yes, okay, I got the club head caps that I really wanted. Now I can give that to Rico. And Rico is eager to see the club head caps that have grown in the aviary. She hasn't seen mushrooms like this in decades. Let's see what Rico's got to say. Rico is at her bench, running small vials of some liquid through an old chemical analysis machine. The whirring of the spinning drum fills the lab with white noise, and you aren't sure if she notices you approach. Sleeper, it's good to see you. She looks up smiling. This little project of ours has been keeping me awake the past few cycles, but right now, well, I think I have something. You should rest. I know my limits. She laughs to herself. I just don't like paying attention to them. Wow, relatable. The drum finishes spinning and Rico lifts a vial from it, holding it up to the light. This is something I've extracted from those club heads you've been bringing me, and according to my analysis, it could be a substance totally unique on the Greenway. You take a look at the small amount of liquid in the vial. Any idea what it might be? Rico asks without looking away from the vial. Well, it does say it's a spark, like a green liquid, right? Did it say that somewhere? Did it say it was green? But the fact that it says stabilizer and it isn't even an option here, I'm gonna guess it's stabilizer. Rico nods. You aren't the first sleeper to have come through here. Perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. Rico's tone suddenly drops, changing the atmosphere in the lab immediately. I just thought... She pauses, thinking very carefully on how to continue. I just wanted you to trust us. What do you mean? She sighs. They came through a fair few cycles ago. We found them wandering in the broken section near the gap. The members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. They were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. Oh, was this the person we just ran into? They were quieter than you and damaged. We did our best to patch them up and welcome them to the commune. I only really spoke to them once while I was working on their wounds along with a couple of system engineers. She looks nervously at you. I'd never seen a body like that before. I took some readings, some samples. Samples? You have to understand, I was curious. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just took a little of the damaged material, less than a thumbnail. She shifts her weight to her crutch. The next cycle they were gone. They took a little food and hiked up towards the wild margins, where the Greenway meets the waste. Someone saw them in the distance, but that was it. They disappeared into the overgrowth. Oh, I have some really bad news. She sits down heavily, the vial in her hand. When I saw you, I wanted things to be different. I wanted to keep you here rather than let you disappear into... wherever they ended up. She smiles to herself. Yes, I wanted to understand this place better, but I also wanted to help you. It seems that somehow both of my wishes have come true at once. She holds out a hand with the vial. This is for you. You take the stabilizer, the glass cold and smooth in your palm. How? Those club head caps made it for you. Or at least, who and whatever made those club heads. She starts to clear her bench. It was right there, contained in their tissue. I only had to extract it. I imagine you understand how incredible that is. I learned enough from that sleeper to know that your body, your frame, is it? Runs on some exotic technology. Technology that has a time limit built in. Somehow the Greenway knows that too. It understands your physiology much better than I ever could. It knows how to treat you. Just like that miraculous antidote that sprung from the mold, so too this sprung from your presence here. The Greenway is speaking to you. It is welcoming you. She looks up. I know it sounds crazy, but I know it to be true. Here's the evidence. And what I also know is it no longer is... And what I also know is it is no longer speaking to me. Even after decades here, I have never seen this kind of response. Not since the antidote so many cycles ago. She smiles. So I'm going to make you a deal. You bring me as many club heads as you like. I'll extract the stabilizer and give it to you freely. But you have to tell me what the Greenway says. You have to speak with it, to dig into it, to find what being is at the center of it. I have traveled as far as I can. I need you to do the rest. Can you do that? Yes. Rico sighs with relief and deflates into her chair. Thank you. I'm sorry for the other sleeper. Truly, I am. Sorry I couldn't have done more. But I'm so glad I met you. She smiles. You are welcome here, anytime. Rico falls silent. She looks smaller now, more fragile, and you realize how old she must be to have seen the collapse firsthand. You idle a little in the lab in case she asks for anything else, but she remains silent. And so you drift back into the tunnel, thoughts of that other sleeper, and where they ended up, weighing on your mind. I wonder if I had done this first, if I had just had a few more mushrooms before I went and found them, would I have been able to give the stabilizer to the other sleeper? I don't know. I wonder if that would have even been possible. Rico's grow beds. The only way to understand what Gardener gave you is to grow it. Rico is incredibly excited by the prospect. I think I did some of this in a silly order. I don't think they expected me to have done all of the Neovend and Navigator stuff well before I did any of this. Okay, so that'll take 8 cycles to complete. So that'll take quite a bit. And then what are the mushrooms that I need to bring? I need to bring 2 Jurol caps to start the DLC, which I think I'm getting pretty close to being able to do. Man, this is a rough bunch of rolls. I actually wonder, because I have quite a few upgrades, right? I've got 3 upgrade points. I'm gonna get the Karma, because I would love to be able to reroll. And look at that. Let's see what Bliss has to say. Oh. Ember's Wake, the malfunctioning fuel tanker. Oh, okay. Oh, and there's only 3 days? Somehow Bliss swung a tanker contract, but the catch is that the work needs to be turned around fast. Too fast. Sealing the leaks. The tanker's crew have detected a set of leaks and they need to isolate and seal them as soon as possible. That's where you come in. We can do a full system flush. Bliss has an idea. A full system flush with tracer fluid to reveal the leaks, which means an emergency venting of all tanks. Brilliant. Dangerous. Or tank recladding. Typically the way to fix this kind of leak is painstakingly inspect and reseal the entire ship's cladding. But is there time? Well, luckily with my rerolls, I can handle something dangerous. That'll... Oh, but I can only do that once. Dang, I did not realize. I would have waited until I had a better roll to do that. Sealing the leaks. Can we get through the whole thing? No. Oh, and now I'm starving. Ouch. Alright, time to eat. Oh, and I want to bring Emphas some Matsutakes as well. Got a lot of Matsutakes I want to deliver to different people. Can I buy scrap? I could if this ship was here. I think, should I inject the stabilizer? Having 5 dice is so helpful that I want to make sure that I keep my condition up maxed as much as I can. It's just so much better to have 5 dice than even 4. Okay, let's go finish off that repair for Bliss. Let's get the guarantee out of it. There we go. All right, Bliss, let's face it, you kind of owe me for this one. As you both wait in the airlock for it to cycle back to the bay, Bliss thumps you on the arm. Nicely done, Sleeper. We cleared that contract, no problem. She stretches. Once we're back in the bay, we can check if the payment has come through and divide it up. She stretches. Feels good. Wait, Bliss, I'm sorry. You just delivered the final product without actually getting paid? Oh, you sure are an engineer and a mechanic and not a business person, huh? The airlock clunks and the lights flicker. A moment later, you are back in the bay where Moritz is at the racks trying to figure out where the mess of tools Bliss left in her wake should be hung. Hey, Moritz. Moritz looks over his shoulder. Sleeper? He spins a wrench in his hands. Looked like clean work out there. He nods respectfully. You look over at Bliss, who is already gliding over to her management console. She twirls a little as she crosses the cavernous bay. No one you've ever met moves as well in 0G as she does. It looks like she was born into it. Shit. Bliss slams a fist into the console. Shit, shit, shit. Just glance over at Moritz. Moritz raises his eyebrows but stays quiet. He doesn't want to get involved. Bliss calls you over. Look at this. Just look. She spins the terminal screen and you see the details for the bay's account. You see an entry for the Ember's Wake, the repair fee paid in full the moment you finished up the job, but then directly after, the whole amount was transferred back into an unknown account. What the hell? This is the work of my ex. She punches the terminal. He must have coded a back door into the machine before he left. She rubs her forehead. There's no way we can... She pauses, thinking. Moritz, throw me a wrench. What's that for? Moritz spins the wrench across the bay. Bliss smiles. Bliss brings the wrench down on the terminal, hard. You flinch backwards as a hail of computer parts spill up across into the bay in a glittering arc. Fragments of screen, memories, sections of the casing. When Blitz is done, she clips the wrench to her tool belt. Try backdooring your way into that, you shit. Moritz drifts out of his hiding place among the racks. Bliss, he says tentatively. You want me to... He looks at the arc of fragments drifting around the bay nervously. Bliss shakes her head. No, she sighs. I've got it. You go get me a new terminal, cheapest you can find. Cobble one together from pieces at the ore exchange, if you have to. Bliss. She looks over at you. I'm good now. Bliss glides over to the panel by the wall. Don't worry. One of the first things I had installed when we spec'd out this place was a cleaning sweep. She flicks over a plastic cover on a huge red button. Watch yourself. She hammers the button and a row of laser emitters unfold from the bay wall. They start crawling their way across the work area, frying the debris as they do in pulses of burning light. Bliss smiles. And Slatter just space the whole bay every few cycles. What now? All the money I forwarded you. Bliss sighs. We keep at it. The cleaning sweep buzzes and crackles as it works its way across the bay. That account wasn't everything. I'm not that stupid. Once Moritz gets it back, I'll secure it and flush everything else. She flicks a nearby piece of debris into the path of the sweep. Clean break. Then we take another contract. That's it. She shuts off the sweep as it reaches the near end of the bay. You don't want the cryo back? Oh, I want it, but it's gone. He could have transferred it anywhere. She looks out across the hub, and even if I knew where he was, the last thing I ever want is to see him again. She rubs her forehead. I'm sorry, Sleeper. I know you worked for this too, but next time won't be the same. That's okay. She smiles. See you in a few cycles. Moritz will let you know. She winks and kicks off into the bay to finish cleaning up. Well, that didn't go as I hoped. I'm glad I took that extra money, even though everything in my heart told me not to. Yeah, let me buy some scrap. Cheaper to buy scrap than stabilizer. Alright, now let's see, what else? Collect some mushrooms, maybe? So I hope... I need some Matsutakes, but I would also love some more... Okay, hey, 2 Matsutakes. Oh wait, no. 2 Girol caps. I need 1 more Matsutake. For, Emphis. See if I can get some of those with the rare mushrooms. There we go. And then I'll work to get my energy up at the, commune. Now that I've got those Matsutakes, let me see what Emphis has to say. I guess actually I probably could have just... I will probably get my energy up from being fed by Emphis for his delicious broth. Emphis inhales the deep autumnal aroma of the Matsutake caps and nods. He seems impressed. Oh, right, he likes to take some time to prep his ingredients. 3 days. 3 days of no mushrooms? slowly but surely plink my way along the side reel as well. And let's end the cycle. Oh, just stretching a little. Oh man, my back is so sore. But it's like a good sore because I've been working out lately, which is nice. But my trainer is pushing me crazy hard. And so I've been really trying to eat enough protein to like make it worth it. That's tough too. Let's see. Okay. It's almost time to check in with the aftermath of Rabia. And there's kind of, I guess I'll spend today probably working more on the side reel. As soon as I get the side reel stuff done and the aftermath of all of that other business with the Yatagan enforcers is dealt with, I think that's when I'll start the DLC stuff. My mouse is acting up. Might need to charge it sometime soon. Three quarters of the way full for the side rail horizon. That's pretty good. I wonder, I hope Lem and Mina get it, like get the tickets, because I helped babysit Mina so much that Lem was able to do a bunch of work and he got on the team. But I don't know. I wonder how that works. Man, I also need some food. Let's see. Where can I just buy some? Well, I can sell some of this data, actually. Gets even more money. But when I don't have access to Emphasis' delicious, tasty shrooms, where am I supposed to eat? Because the commune won't let me buy food. This Gimbal Lounge? Buy a spacer meal? The gimbal sells itself on its spinning sphere, which claims to produce therapeutic gravitational effects. It doesn't, but they sell food. This is my first spacer meal. That's pretty good. Spacer food is a slurry of modified compounds and vitamins, laced with a dose of algae. It's effective nutrition, but little else. And it's no mushrooms. Number 1 shroom bot. Okay, let's go spend the night. And we'll have lots to talk about in the morn. People need to start calling it the morn more often. That's some pretty good rolls. 3 6s. Call me the beast. Even before you enter the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia working the heavy bag. She is hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. She's been like this since... Rabia doesn't finish the sentence. They're sitting on a stool and looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through the SN ARP data you pulled all those cycles ago. How have you been? I'm well, Sleeper, happy to no longer be hunted. They smile. Yatagan has plenty to deal with, and without Yannick, I'm free. They glance nervously at Rabia. Rabia stops punching, and in the silence you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her and you sense something between them. You realize you haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in the same unit. A lot has changed since then. They hooked him up like a puppet. Rabia hits the bag, rigged that thing in his head so that they could control him, pushed the old Yannick out. I don't know why he let them. Rabia throws a few more punches, but it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yatagan shouldn't deal with corporations, and we never will again. She spits. She comes away from the bag. At least Yannick's death has been treated as natural. There's a chance we come back from this, that Yatagan can hold on, but there are opportunists trying to take control. Sabine turns to you. Yes, but now that the connection has been broken, I've been looking in removing the trackers from the implants in Yatagan's enforcers. It's a significant job, but I think, with time, I can do the surgeries. Rabia walks away from the bag towards the far side of the unit. Those surgeries will never happen if Yatagan collapses. She shouts back at Sabine. Clearly, this is a well-worn argument in this unit. Will Yatagan really collapse? I don't think so, no. Rabia doesn't either. They look over at her. At least not when she's calm. But I now understand is that Yatagan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from SNARP, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang. And with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabia believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with SNARP, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing their shoulders. Are you and Rabia a thing? She fixes you with a look. Yes, Sleeper. Isn't that obvious? They smile. Ooh, hey. I've been wanting to say, Sabine begins nervously, that I'm sorry I didn't tell you where I came from. I know I've apologized before, but I want to again. They pause. Properly. When I leaked the data on the Sleeper program, it was to try to help people, like you. They grit their teeth, but after all the cycles here being pushed down, pushed around, trying to survive, all that got away from me. So when you turned up, they sigh. It shook me up. They run a hand through their hair. But I ended up here, so they look at Rabia. Oh, of course. They reach into the pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the case. You can have them. They drop them into your hands. After these last few, I don't know what we can do. Without the SNARP connection, or with the SNARP connection broken, they look down. But I know there are other ways. Repairs, other pharmaceuticals. I even heard there are some labs out on the Greenway. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry I can't do more. Thank you. For everything. They look away, their eyes bright with tears. Rabia crosses back to you both and sits beside Sabine. They look at each other and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. What are you two plotting? Rabia grins. Sabine laughs, and the sound is a welcome one. You watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later, when you leave, you take that handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel that core of anger deep down inside, and you don't know if it will ever leave. But SNARP doesn't own you anymore. They can't. Because this place, these people, own you. They are what makes you get up every cycle. They are what keep you breathing. You put the vials away and walk through the low end, your senses tuned to every sight, every smell, every sound, soaking it all in. Living. Hey, at least one story had a happy ending, right? Like, at least that one's, and you know, three more stabilizers, because I already used the one from the Greenway, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. I'm gonna repair myself a little bit. Keep my stability up without even needing the stabilizer. And then I think it's time we finish the side reel. See what happens with Lem and Mina. Your crew slowly filters out of the shipyard locker room, the bubbling chatters reducing with each group that leaves. There's excitement in the air. Haven Age just made an announcement. The assembly teams are done. Sat on the locker room bench, you can feel the side reel out there, its hulking mass now intimately familiar to you. Over the past few cycles, you have watched it grow, be assembled. You've walked through its veins and welded its bones. Now it is ready for the final stage. It will go to testing now, then enter a final process of sealing and resealing, checking and rechecking before it deemed suitable for its generational trip. But for now, your work is done. You can't help but feel proud. A cough interrupts your thoughts. It's Lem, changing out of his work gear. Mina is nowhere to be seen. He smiles. She'll be ready soon. Where's Mina? You two are fast friends, huh? She's been watched at home. Now I'm on the work team. I can afford a bit more help. He corrects himself. Was on the work team. I mean, we're all out of a job now, he quickly adds. Not that I'm complaining. Lem comes to sit beside you on the bench. She's gonna be in her best shape when she carries you, Mina, and me out of here. So confident. Lem smiles apologetically. Why not? I figure I'm due a lucky turn by now. He rubs his hands nervously. No use in wondering what if. Until the draw anyway, and there's a few cycles till then. Lem is right, but the odds seem unlikely anyway. How many are working in the shipyard? Hundreds? 1,000? You've certainly seen more faces than you can count pass through. And are the Celis Foundation even gonna keep on their promise? Out here on the Eye, you get a sense that no one will hold them to it. Why else would they be building the side reel in a surrogate system? As you think, Lem watches you with a worried look. Tell me about Celis. The Foundation? He thinks. I'm not sure I know much more than you. I hear they have a planet in mind for the side reel. Something temperate and habitable. I think they're run by some rich folk from the core. People interested in doing things different. Different how? Lem looks into space. Well, I guess they don't like the way the core runs things. All these surrogate systems, like this one, feeding resources into their silos. It's a pyramid of sort, and we're on the bottom layer. I guess Celis wants to change that. I'd rather keep my mind on the prize, so to speak. I don't care much what they're for or against, as long as they can help us get out of here. He sighs. You ever been in a thunderstorm, Sleeper? A real big one? I don't remember. Lem shoots you a worried look for a moment. It's something else. He smiles. The sound, the smell, the rain hammering down, the whole sky stretched out and bruised, roaring and huge. The place I was born, New Pembroke, a dry old rock in the Conway system, had 2 seasons. One of them was as dry as bone, dusty, ugly. The other one was one long storm, a side effect of the terraforming efforts, they said. Rain used to rattle off the roof like bullets. It washed the dust away, turned the streets to rivers. It'd sing us to sleep and wake us in the morning. We'd wait half a year just to see it again. The best day was the one where the first drops fell. He sniffs. Some days I wake up swearing I can hear it again. I was thinking, Mina has never seen a storm, never even felt rain. She's grown up here, the ring her only horizon, always in the dark. I want to change that for her. You will. Of course. Almost there. Lem stands, stretching. Best get back to the little one anyway. With the shifts done, I reckon she'll be happy to have me home for a few cycles. He shoulders his gear. See you in a few for the draw? I'll be there. I don't actually want to go, but good. I'll be there. Right on, he grins. Lem leaves, making you the last person in the cavernous locker room. As you sit, you think about the rain, and a little hope creeps in. Is it possible? Could the sidereal really take you to a planet, a place, with weather, with skies, with life? You get up quickly before you can think about it anymore. It's too soon to hope, too dangerous. There's work to be done. Alright, 6 cycles until we see what happens with the sidereal. I said I would be there, but I don't know that I actually want to go with Lem and Mina. I love them, don't get me wrong, but that's Lem's dream, not mine. Two more cycles till Bliss is ready for something for me. Feel like I've just about cleared up most things now. So I still got a few cycles for Rico's seed to have grown. And Emphas is gonna make me his mushroom stew tomorrow, I think, is when that comes through. So I might as well get some more spores and start making some more. Well, actually, what I need is dural caps. Maybe I just forage those. Oh wait, I already have 3 of them. I actually don't even need more. Then maybe what I do is I actually start the help on the refugee stuff. I'll start that on a day when I've got fresh dice, though. I feel like sometimes starting a new adventure on a day without dice, the stuff ends up being, like, more time-oriented than you thought it was going to be. I want to avoid that happening again. I never ended up finishing the Low Ender quest. I should probably do that. Let's see. Yeah, let's just end the cycle. Maybe I'll finish that Low Ender quest just to be like, hey, get... like, is there another zone that I haven't discovered? It's possible, huh? And Emphas is ready. Emphas is preparing the Matsutake caps. He cleans them carefully with a damp cloth before shaving the stalks as if he was sharpening a pencil. His knife slides through them, revealing the bright white of the flesh within. These are good, Sleeper. Very good, he says without looking up. I bartered with Mingi for some kelp too, so we can brew you the dashi. Dashi? A soup base. Very good. Emphas slides the sliced Matsutake mushrooms to one side and takes out the closed pan. He opens the lid and you see the green wafer of kelp sitting in a bath of water. Been soaking it since last cycle, Emphas explains. Should be good to warm now. He places the pan over the burner and turns it on low. We have some time now. He wipes his hand clean and throws the cloth over his shoulder. However, there is one difference this cycle, he smiles. you've been the one providing the ingredients, so it is my turn to provide a story. Okay, Emphas. Good. This story is important to me. He gestures for you to both sit on the folding stools behind the stall. You see these? Emphas runs a hand over his forearms, tracing the circular scars that mark them like perfect bite marks. Conway called it an anchored interface rig, a mechanical control device for piloting a heavy-duty extraction suit in low-G industrial operations. We called it a bone suit. Are those these marks right here along his arms? He points to a pattern of larger circles on his shoulder. Oh yeah. They drill in and anchor it here, then all the way down the arm. He taps each scar on the way. It maps mechanical movements to the suit exactly, a 1-to-1 mechanical replication. You swing your arm, a 2-ton arm swings too. He was in the Eva mech. The Ava mech. You should have seen the recruitment vids. Strong people in even stronger suits, tearing through stone and scrap, superheroes. Half my graduating year signed up, from company school to company shuttle. Conway from birth to death. He stares off into the distance for a moment, fighting with the memories. But the bone suits weren't good. The rate of failures was high, and failures meant arms torn off, anchors torn out, broken bones, bad stuff. So after a while, Conway discontinued them. No longer competitive, they said. He checks the broth, turning down the heat and adding the mushrooms. So there we were. Hundreds of us with surgical altercations for suits that didn't work. They sent us home, back to that company colony that spat us out, to be cleaners, drivers, cooks. They gave us drugs for the pain and told us to make something of ourselves. When I deserted, bribing some passing spacer to take me into orbit, there were only me and a couple of others left. The rest just faded away. Arthritis, osteoporosis, they folded in on themselves like paper lanterns. That was my generation. The anchor points still ache, still burn. He touches the scars. But what burns worse is the betrayal. I've been on the eye for a long time now, but that will never fade. Not that, and not the face of my friends. Emphas reaches over and sprinkles a handful of leaves into the broth. It's ready. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I'll not let their story die, and as long as I am telling it, it will remain. Emphas pours the broth into a double-walled metal bowl and hands it to you. The heat radiates through your hands, and the smell drifts up, rich and sharp, like a pine forest after the rain. You drink the broth slowly, chewing the matsutake and thinking. Emphas busies himself by cleaning the pans in the bowl, sealing the kelp back up for another day. Then he quietly comes to sit with you while you finish the meal. Neither of you speak, preferring instead to let the story linger in the air for a little longer. It is not that there is nothing to say, it's that sometimes, in the moments after something, speaking breaks the spell. So you both idle, eager to be in each other's company, Emphas taking longer over his cleaning, his packing, and you savoring the final dregs of broth. When you finally finish and hand him the bowl, you feel the spell break, and the story leaves you both. As you leave, you know that both of you are somehow a little more empty, and a little more full than before. Oh. See, I feel like I shouldn't talk now because I'm gonna break the spell, as it were. That emphasis cast on me. Oh, his story is so good, and it's so real. Like, it reminds me of Sleepers in that way, of like, he was essentially built, you know, with his schooling and everything, to be a certain way and to do a certain task. And at a certain point, when his body was going to be too expensive to upkeep, they tossed him aside. And it's like, oh, that's very much the Sleepers story in a similar way. You know, obviously there's kind of core differences of like how that is treated, consciousness and all of that. But it's really good. All right, we've got Gerals. Esh asked you to bring supplies, and fragrant, high-grown Geral caps seem like the perfect thing to impress her. Let's start the DLC. Here we go. You came! Peak smiles as you walk into the climbing briar's cargo hold behind a gloomy Esh. They brought mushrooms. Esh tosses the mushroom caps onto a crate, raising her eyebrow at Peak. Peak gives her a look. Thank you, Sleeper. They pick one up and sniff at it. Are these edible? Yes, I would not have brought inedible mushrooms. Peak turns the cap over in their fingers before putting it down. We're not so used to fresh produce. Esh is securing crates as she speaks and doesn't look up. Hawthorne doesn't have much in the way of farming. Hawthorne? The installation we grew up on. Esh wipes off her hands on a rag. XPR loves to name their property after natural things, but that's about as far as their relationship with plant life goes. XPR? You have caught me at a loss, Esh, I'm sorry. This an interrogation? She glares. Either way, we are done with that place, which is all you need to know. Esh leans back against the crate she was securing. We're gonna need more than a few mushrooms if we want to help those refugees, though. What do they need? Food, water, components, a whole lot of things. Esh stands and walks over to the mushrooms you brought, placing them into a small container with care. The problem isn't just getting supplies, it's getting them through to the ships. Can't you just fly around? And get the Briar seized for breaching quarantine? No thanks. She laughs. We're lucky we even got here before the cordon was set up. That's the only reason we're on this side. Why is there a quarantine? Peak jumps in. The Eye is a closed-loop life support system. Just like any orbital installation, any unfamiliar illness or significantly increased strain on its life support could cause cascading collapse in its systems. Esh scoffs. Are we making excuses for these bureaucrats now? Peak turns. We are being realistic, Esh. But these people aren't an increased strain. They are living people. Esh stares at you. Even calling them refugees is just a way to turning a lot of scared, desperate people into a single monolithic group. Esh slides the cargo, the container full of mushrooms into one of the cargo's hold racks. Look, as much as I'd love to chat, we've still got a lot of space to fill in this hold, so if you're going to help, I think Esh is trying to say that we need your help, and quickly. Peak says, glancing at her. The refugees behind the cordon, they won't be able to hold out indefinitely. We need to get supplies to them in the next 12 cycles, or... Ash steps forward, or Haven Age will have to bear the responsibility for whatever happens next. Yeah, what can I do? There's 3 things we still need to secure. Water, food, and scrap components for ship repairs. Oh man, I shouldn't have used all that scrap to heal myself. I mean, it was important, but... Esh gestures to the storage containers around the hold. Water we can find a way to source, or my preference, just siphon off the underground reservoirs in the Greenway. Peak raises their eyebrows. Esh. She ignores them. For food, things could be tricky. Those mushrooms are delicious, I'm sure, but no way we can get enough volume to feed a flotilla. However, I saw an algae stack on the way over. If we can get access... Not more stealing, Esh, Peak sighs. I didn't say steal. She stares at them indignantly. If we can get access, we can work the stack, harvest some algae for the flotilla. Those stacks churn out vast quantities in short timescales. And the repair components? Peak asks tentatively. Ash smiles. Just look around you, Peak. The whole place is made of scrap. She shoots you a glance, and I'm sure the sleeper has their sources. They can bring them right here. We've got everything, we get everything before time runs out? Perfect. We get most of it? Also good. Either way, in 12 cycles, I'm going to take what we have and go. But how will you get through? Ash shoulders a container. Thought I'd leave that up to you, Peak. They flinch. Are you serious? Ash, I know we said we could help with the flotilla, but at what point? They stop, take a breath. Take this seriously, Ash. I don't know the first thing about breaching a quarantine cordon. Maybe not. Ash looks at you. They might. They slipped out of an SNR facility, didn't they? Plus, they've been here longer than us. You're always trying to get me to find help. Well, here it is. She gestures at you. Help. Peak glances between the two of you. I swear to... They sigh. I need to... think this one through. Meet me at the cordon in a couple of cycles, Sleeper. Maybe we can figure something out. Meanwhile, Ash meets your eye. You can help me acquire the supplies. Discreetly, she smiles. We have to keep this quiet. Keep Haven Age out of the loop. Once they get suspicious, this is all over for us. This is all suddenly seems a little too real, too dangerous. You've only just found your feet on the eye. This is not time for causing trouble. Come find us. We'll be out there trying to pull all this together. Ash goes back to the container of the hold and starts packing another container. Peak, come help me. Peak glances back at her. Sleeper, look, we didn't choose this either. They lower their voice. Help us finish this. We've set up a base camp on the Broken Spoke. You're welcome to the rest. You're welcome to rest there in any of the cots while we're working together. They smile. We are in this together. Peak! Ash shouts, and they walk back into the hold to help with the container. As you leave the climbing briar, you look out at the broken edge of the Eye's Ring, where Haven Age's cordon blinks with tiny red lights. What are you getting yourself into? Oh boy, how much stuff do I need? Okay, so this is a new home base. That's nice. I need 8 scrap components? That's a lot. Okay. Flotilla needs food, water, and components. You might not be able to get them all, but Ash will take what you can get. Okay. And will the 8 scrap just become 1 tick in this whole thing? Oh, that's a lot of scrap that they want me to collect. And then I have to meet Peak in 2 cycles. Okay. Let's see, I wonder how quickly I'll start to find, or like the overlap of the drives here is going to be quite difficult, I think, but it's time to gather some scrap, I think. But this is only +1. Let me see if any of the ships are in right now. There's also this stuff, the algae stack. +2 algae access. Much to Esh's frustration, you'll have to pay or talk your way into using the algae stack to farm food for the refugees. Okay, so that's something that I can do. And the reservoir. So this is water. Okay, interesting. Ash needs tanks and tanks of water if she hopes to help the flotilla. Okay, so the 3 ticks are one's for scrap, one's for the water, one's for the food. That makes sense. And then I can siphon water and try and lower the Haven Age alert. Also got 3 upgrade points, which means honestly getting... What is some of this? This is engage. I've already got a +2 to that, so that's good. Actually, I'll just go ahead and use these 4s then. Negotiate our access in. Then re-roll all these 2-2s. Hacker voice. I'm in. To the algae stacks. We're going to be able to get algae. Oh, but this is... So now there's a whole other task on top of this, okay? You can try and accelerate growth. The algae in the stacks grow at regular rates, but with some careful feed adjustments and water cycling, so you can improve your yield per cycle. And then harvest algae. There's no more algae in the stack for this cycle. You'll have to wait for more to grow. Okay, but if we do improve the algae growth, then we'll be able to get more, hopefully. Okay, wow, yeah. Between scrap components, food, and water. I'm glad I left this until I had at least some fewer activities to do. There's still plenty to be done on the ship. Oh, and the scrap ship just left, so I won't have access to that for 4 more cycles. Alright, the sidereal horizon is in 6 cycles. Having to try and keep track of all this. Sidereal draw will be happening in 3. Oh, I should have waited until after the sidereal draw, probably. Because what if I have to do something, like, in an emergency for Lemon Mina? I have to prioritize Lemon Mina. Oh, derelict unit. Oh, then I need to use scrap components here. A half-built unit looks long forgotten. A project that never made it. No, I'm gonna go use the other ship that they gave me access to as a place to sleep. I'm really glad that I have all of the stabilizer, though, in order to not worry about that and not have to use scrap components in order to keep my stability up. That would have been really tough to balance. Overall, I think I chose a good time to start. Oh. Sleeper. Moritz is waiting for you on your way out. All the way out here? He made it across the gap? How have you been? Busy. I see. He nods. Well, I'll get right to it. Bliss sent me down. We scored another contract and she needs your help. That's the message. Pauses. Look, I know last time the payment didn't come through, but you did good work. Bliss knows that. It's no problem, Moritz. Okay then. He pauses again. She's doing her best, you know? I know. He nods. See you up there. Moritz turns and strides off, leading you in the corridor. Time to help Bliss, and maybe this time you think, it'll work out. Oh man, okay, balancing Bliss's contract, the sidereal draw, and the refugees, I maybe should have waited, because I think this is probably going to be a big one. Yeah, look at that. That's enormous. Okay. Ventisection, and you have a better chance at saving the remaining crops, but you will lose some in the process. Question is, how many? The sycamore seed needs to be reinforced and sealed, otherwise the crop will be lost. Fragile biome. The sycamore seed's internal biome is in trouble. Every action will bring it closer to collapse. Okay, that's a lot. Luckily, it doesn't seem like there's a negative timer on this one. So I can actually wait until I've got better rolls than what I currently have, which seems kind of ideal. I might have to wait until after the 12 days where I'm helping out the refugees, because otherwise it's just a lot. Let's see what happens when I... I think I should upgrade one of the things I'll need for here. What? This is engineer or interface. And this is endure or intuit. I think... honestly, for my character, I think upping endure... oh, but I don't have enough points to do that. I can either up engineer or intuit. I'll upgrade engineer. And then use that to get this water. Water for the flotilla. Oh man, the fact that that only fills up one is rough. Oh, and even just a neutral outcome fills up the Haven Age alert. Ooh. Okay. I mean, the chances that I re-roll and get much better dice, it's like 50-50 that I get better dice. There we go. Oh, and I can sometimes get random scrap from engineering rolls. That's excellent. That'll help me get the scrap together. Not always, but sometimes. Okay, halfway there on the water. Oh, and... I think spending this 2 just on getting my energy up, keeping that up, is important as well. I hope Bliss doesn't get upset that I'm not going to be able to help right away. I definitely need to use my stabilizer because losing any dice right now would be really, really bad. I want to keep myself up at least at, at least at 5. That's max you can do, but that sounded like things were happening. As you leave, you find a note pinned to the outside of the door. It reads, "Sleeper, there's something you need to see. Meet me at the cordon as soon as you can. Just keep heading out around the ring until you hit the flotilla. I'll be waiting. Peek." You pocket the note and glance around the corridor. Looks like you are doing this. Time to make a plan. Oh, the fact that like peaks. I don't know if it's supposed to. This looks like it could be like almost like fingernails or like butting heads kind of thing. But to me, the thing I immediately read this image as was as a spider, even though there's only 4 legs. Sleeper! Peek catches your attention from the shadowy corridor they were leaning up against. Any trouble getting here? This place is huge. It certainly is. Haven Age has been very busy. Come, take a look at this. They beckon you over to a nearby window, which looks across the ruined ring to the blinking red lights of the Haven Age cordon. The cordon's temporary structures, a net of metal struts meant to detect and dissuade any ships from entering or leaving the flotilla, jut out into the back. are into the black, and all around, the tugs flit, securing them in place and tending to the red blinking drones that demark the quarantine. It's an impressive and worrying sight. What do you think? Peak interrupts your thoughts. How would you get through? Well, I'm playing a bit of a meathead. Oh, excuse me, just sneezed. My allergies have been crazy lately. Just go for it, hard and fast. Peak raises an eyebrow. Not exactly what I was expecting, as that would surely end up with the Briar being quarantined, but it would get us through. Peak squints at the red lights. Better saved for a plan B, I think. Peak turns away from the windows and rubs their forehead. Ash has really wrapped us up in something here, hasn't she? The question is spoken under their breath, and they don't seem to expect an answer. The silence grows. Why are you helping the flotilla? Peak looks up. You don't think it's a worthy cause? They pause. We ran into them when we escaped Hawthorne. Esh insisted we investigate their distress signal. I'm not saying we shouldn't have. Peak stares out the window at the distant blinking lights of the arrived ships. It's just... Peak brushes back their hair. Forget it. Let's focus on the plan. They flash you an uneasy smile. It doesn't matter why. We are the ones who are going to help them. The way I see it, there are 3 parts to making it through the cordon. They gesture out the window at the strange structure. Deception, distraction, and speed. We'll need all of them for a clean passage through. Deception means tricking the cordon security into thinking that we are meant to be there. Maybe a tug escort would work? Anything that makes the Briar look official. Distraction, meanwhile, will be all about diverting attention so that no one looks too hard at what the Briar is doing. If we can create a gap in the cordon's scanning and deterrent systems, that should keep them busy. Finally, speed will mean making sure the Briar is ready to roll. Perhaps we can do a little work on the ship to get her ready? Ash surely wouldn't mind. They lean back from the window. How does that sound? Risk. It sounds like it's gonna take a lot of more dice than I have. Well, they smile. Yes, there's always going to be risk. That's how this works. You've got to be on board with that. Peak looks down at their slate. 10 cycles left. They glance out of the window at their cordon nervously. 10 cycles to gather the supplies and to prep this plan. It's tight. It's very tight. I have other things happening too. Peak looks at you. If this goes wrong, Peak sighs. Just get out, okay? They squeeze at your shoulder. I'll follow Esh anywhere. But you don't need to get dragged down with us. It won't come to that. Peak brightens up a little. Of course, but just keep it in mind. Let's get to it. Peak stretches. I'll tell Esh about the improvements to the Briar, and the rest... Let's explore the cordon as best as we can and look for openings. I have no idea what guardian angel sent you to us, Sleeper. Peak smiles, but I'm very glad they did. Oh man, there's even so much more to do. And I think today is also the, I think today is also the day that everything's getting called for the side reel. Yep, Lemon Mina. Let's check in. The crowds have already gathered by the time you get to the shipyard, and you recognize faces among them. People you have worked with alongside on the ship on the side reel. The intervening cycles have turned their excitement into anxiety, and a few of them smile at you. Instead, the nervous energy of the crowd fills the space, creating a feedback loop of growing tension. You pick out Lem and Mina and work your way over to them, pushing through the crowd. He silently raises an eyebrow at you, his anxiety obvious, but Mina flashes you a huge smile, unaware of the tension. "Robot!" she shouts, reaching out to you. "Hi, Mina!" Wait, I'm gonna hug her, of course. She gratefully accepts your hug, leaning against your chest, and Lem smiles, seemingly glad to share the weight of Mina for a moment. "Quite a turnout, huh?" Lem glances around, pulling Mina close. "I don't think patience is one of the crowd's strengths." The sounds of an argument towards the back catches your and Lem's attentions. He's putting it lightly. This place seems set to explode. This isn't good. Lem doesn't dare answer, but the look in his eyes suggests he agrees. "This is Aster Enghart of the Celis Foundation." The announcement echoes from the speakers at the shipyard entrance, and shouts of "Quiet!" rapidly follow. "I'm sorry I can't be there to meet you all, and thank you on the behalf of Condre Celis for the work you have done on the sidereal horizon." Most of the crowd strains to see Aster's face, but the small display shows only a ghastly, ghostly white figure, smudged and unclear. "Cendre wanted me to pass on her personal thanks for your commitment to and belief in the Celis Foundation's mission. We chose the Eye for this project because we knew that we could find like-minded individuals here, especially among the ranks of the venerable Haven Age Society. Unlike most of the Corps, we believe that we neither believe Erland's Eye to be a threat or a rogue state, but instead an embryo for the formation of a new decentralized social structure, one where each citizen might be the master of their own destiny." A ripple of impatience runs through the crowd. They didn't come here for a sermon. "You were all pioneers. I'm swapping up the voice because sermon invoked a certain imagery for me. You are all pioneers, just like those core citizens who the sidereal horizon will carry in cryosleep to the planet that will become the Foundation's first frontier world, Celis 1. At the mention of the destination world, excited conversations break out among the workers. There, our citizens will be able to create their own innovative, bottom-up economic order, aligned with the principles set down by Cendre Celis herself. Freedom, resilience, and self-sustenance. This is all thanks to your tireless efforts in the Haven Age Yards. As reward for those efforts, you may know that we are offering a select group the opportunity to join the caretakers of this vision, the staff of the sidereal horizon, who will maintain the vessel during its multi-decade transit through interstellar space." Lem turns to you, his eyes bright. "This is it. This draw has been performed at random by central AIs of the Foundation and is final and binding. Please note, only licensed contractors of the Foundation are eligible for this draw. I know you've all been eagerly awaiting this day, and without further delay, I will now read the Celis identification numbers of those chosen for this great honor." A murmur runs through the crowd. Celis identification numbers? Licensed contractors? You've never heard the term mentioned. Is this something you were supposed to be assigned? You glance at Lem, but his eyes are fixed forward, wide and shimmering. All around you, people are speaking in hushed tones like a rising wave. Aster starts reading out a sequence of numbers and letters. A panic begins to set in. No one seems to know what is happening. Somewhere near the front, the crowd, someone shouts in celebration, and everyone pushes forward. Lem? You see Lem still staring forward. Mina is scared now as the shouts start. Daddy? Someone throws something at the entrance and it rattles against the shipyard doors. You see, for the first time, Haven Age security stood on either side, scared, arguing between themselves. You feel the anger rising in the crowd. Lem, let's go. He doesn't move. I'm just... they might call out names. I can't... Mina tugs at his dog tags. It's not happening, Lem. Lem blinks rapidly and then turns to you. He opens and closes his mouth and looks down at Mina. He sees the fear in her eyes and understands. It's time to go. You lead Lem and Mina out, shoving people aside. As you do, you hear the sound of scuffles emerging from the front of the crowd, of metal canisters bouncing off the shipyard walls. You keep your head down and walk away, the sound of Aster reading off the ciphers, echoing above the chaos like some strange mantra. When you turn to Lem, there are tear tracks running down his cheeks, and Mina is sniffing into his jacket. You feel the sadness rising in you, too. They screwed you. Screwed all of you. You were never even on the list. The feeling is as unpleasant as it is familiar. You stare ahead into the tunnel as the security silence sounds out, a signal for the coming violence. Drive failed? What could I have done differently? Was that a thing I was supposed to be assigned? Should I have like checked here and seen if there was like data that I could have hacked? I didn't even think about that. What could I have done differently? There's a note on the door of the unit. Sleeper. Gone to find work. Lem. Could I have gotten Lem and Mina out? I will say, going on a multi-decade-long spaceship trip, though, does not sound ideal if, like, what Lem wanted to give Mina was, like, the feeling of being in nature and everything like that. Like, I don't know that would have solved, like, or given her the life that he thinks it would have. It sounds a lot more like indentured servitude, but still, I feel bad that his dream seems to have just shattered in front of his eyes. Let's get some food for the flotilla. Oh man, it's tough. There's so much to do. I can get intel from this. It would lower my energy, but honestly, I can pay for food for energy. I don't mind that so much, even if it's risky. I'm gonna need to use every dice to make this work for the, well, for the refugees. Let's get some food. And cross back to the greenway so we can rest there for the night and make some plans as to what we're going to do with our dice. Okay, those are pretty good rolls, which is very helpful because I need every roll I can get right now. I think I'll be able to fill up the food, so that'll be one task done. 1 out of 6. Oh my goodness. You're leaning against the metal crates you just loaded up with the algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. Esh hops onto one beside you, flexing her back again. Or her aching back. Yeah, I sure hope the refugees like algae. Esh squints at you, as if you've just interrupted her train of thought. It's a look you've become familiar with. It doesn't matter either way. This is what we've got. She sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. In these past cycles working the algae stack with Esh, you've had little insight into her mind. She rarely seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel like something has grown between you two, something like silent trust. The kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile soil of hard but necessary work. Something I've been meaning to ask. Esh raised her head cautiously. Go on. Why escape XPR? Esh pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you've built. You can see her begin to shrug the question off. Then she stops, rethinks, and sighs. What you need to understand, Sleeper, is that Erland's Eye wasn't the only place where the Solheim collapse happened. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from Solheim's going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever here. She pauses, hesitant to get into the whole story, but wanting to offer something. She flinches, correcting herself. They are a service corp, you understand? They set up outposts and surrogate systems like this to offer refueling, logistics, and maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts. She gestures to the eye around her. Like Solheim. When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client. And Hawthorne, well, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outposts stable. Hold on to our claim. She rubs at her head, as if recalling all this was somehow physically painful. Do you know what it's like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that exists only to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory, to shore up breach of contract negotiations between two corporations? It's like living in a... She searches for the word, her eyes jumping back and forth. In a grave. She clenches her hands. So if you're looking for the answer to why the question, that's the answer. We, Peak and I, know what it's like to be forgotten, to be locked out. She stares hard at the side of the stack, the algae whirling against the glass in beautiful patterns as she doesn't look away. The silence extends, and you realize the conversation is over. Esh seems angry, not at you, but with herself, for even voicing such ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the crate onto the powered cargo trolley that Esh will run back to the Briar. As you do, you try and catch her eye, but she avoids it, soothing herself instead with the comfort simplicity of physical work. Let's get the water, too. Almost there. I mean, hey, if we can roll, get a decent roll on this reroll. There we go. That's a 6. So we've got the food and the water. Feeling good about that. Tucked into the service corridor deep below the reservoir, Esh is double-checking the seals on the water tanks loaded into the motorized trolley. Though you are far enough away from any thoroughfares not to worry about being overheard, you still both speak in hushed tones. How will you get these into the Briar? Esh glances back at you. We'll trolley these up to a bay further along, and then we'll bring in the Briar for a quick and quiet collection. Speaking of quiet, she gives you a look and then looks pointedly back down the corridor towards the reservoir before hitting the ignition on the trolley to start it moving. You take the other side of the trolley and walk it up the wide service corridor with flickering lights and Solheim detritus. You doubt it gets used by Haven Age. At least, that's the hope. You glance across at Esh, her face a mask of determination as she guides the trolley along. Maybe some conversation will make this journey go a little easier. If there's one thing I've learned from Esh so far, it's that conversation makes it much harder. How did you meet Peak? Esh pauses, a little surprised by your question. She glances back down the tunnel, but in the deserted passage, she can hardly keep up the pretense of silence. We grew up together, she answers quickly and turns back to the trolley, but she can tell you are expecting her to add more. She seems to gather herself for an answer, not wanting to ignore you, but trying instead to get her answer straight in her head. Our outpost, Hawthorne, is not an easy place to grow up. The administration keep a tight hold on everything. She rolls her eyes, even though they are trapped in the same decaying installation as everyone else. Peak, she pauses. Peak found it harder than most. She pauses again, judging her words. I stepped in to help them out. Silence descending again, but you can feel the wheels turning in Esh's mind as the creaking wheels of the trolley take you along the corridor. Peak isn't the most practical of people. They used to be, well, they needed someone to teach them to look after themselves, stand up for themselves. That was me. She smiles. After that, I couldn't get rid of him. Esh stops talking, but you see her eyes have lit up, and you imagine she's recalling some moments or other from her and Peak's past. You both reach a wide bulkhead doorway and have to stop to shimmy the trolley over the edge. When you're done, Esh turns to you. I'm good from here. Head back. And with that, she is gone, moving off the dark tunnel ahead. You watch her go and then turn around and walk the distance back to the staircase you entered from, the tunnel humming around as you do. As you walk, you try to piece together Esh's past, but all you have are glimpses of a person she once was. She seems to prefer it that way. I get the feeling that XBR is somehow responsible for the flotilla of refugees, and that's part of what's making Esh so determined to help, is the fact that they feel somewhat responsible for whatever the company's actions were, and being a part of that for however long of a time she was. That's just the vibe I get. I don't know. Are we going to be getting another ad? I'm going to go for I think a half more hour, call it around 5:30 PST. I've been really enjoying this. This is, it's tense. I'm worried about Lem and Mina. I just want to know what I can do for them. Build a home. I don't even have a thing for Lem and Mina anymore. I wonder what I could have done instead. I wish I could have helped them. Oh, I can get scrap though. Also, I should tell Lem that I'm absolutely loaded. He doesn't need to go find a job. I somehow got very rich through a bunch of sad tragedies. got good dice for today. 3 6s, a 4. Oh, and Rico's got something to say. Rico has something in her hands when you enter the lab. It looks like a knotted twist of woody stems, a ring around the circumference, about the circumference of a human head, consisting of a single stalk at one side and a branched woven network at the other. As you approach, she holds it up, and in the light of the lab, it looks like a crown. Rico finishes your thought. She smiles and shakes her head in disbelief. Is that what we grew? It is. I came to the plant this morning, and this loop was all that was there. She points to a lump on the edge of the ring. The seed grew right back into itself, twisted up out of the soil. That being you encountered in the cloud, as you call it, was it wearing one of these? She eyes you suspiciously, still unsure if she's somehow embroiled in an overlong prank. No. She sighs. I suppose that would be too easy. She smiles at herself. A root crown. She places the object on the bench and shuffles to her analysis terminal, her face lit by its amber light in the dim corner of the lab. Well, it isn't exactly a plant anyway. Not from what I can tell. She gives you a serious look. No leaves, no chloroplasts, just a series of filaments encased in cellulose walls. Filaments? See, that's what I like about you, Sleeper. You are so good at spotting the unusual details. No, Rico, I just don't know what a filament is. I'm just a little dumb, so I have to ask questions. She beckons you over. Look at this. You see a cross-section of scan of the crown. It's layers of plant-like structure on full view until you reach the center. There, instead of xylem and phloem for transporting nutrients, something branched and woven glints. Are those wires? She laughs. I'm not sure whether to say yes or no here. These are like wires. In those in an electrical system, no, but... these are not wires like those in an electrical system, no, but they are filaments of a conductive material. So, yes? She leans closer to the screen. But you see these branches? They remind me of dendrites, of neurons. She rubs her eyes, which is frankly ridiculous. You look back at the crown on the table and Rico fusses over the scans, and you suddenly realize what it reminds you of. You remember signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. Then you remember the crown they fitted you with, the branching structure of wires and pads. No, not a crown. They called it an interface. The tool of your emulation, your transference from neurons to electrons, an interface. That is your gift from Gardner. You turn back to Rico. It's an interface. Rico looks at you puzzled. Something clicks in her mind, perhaps something she heard from the sleeper she had helped all those cycles ago. She starts talking, partly to you, partly to herself. If those club heads were made for you, then this too could be made for you, for your frame. She shuffles over quickly to the interface, a word that has stuck to this strange branched object so quickly in your mind. You're right, that entity, it is the entity I've been looking for. She shuffles quickly to the crown. They are the entity which is controlling the Greenway, which has been maintaining it, supporting it, and has been guiding it for all these decades. She stops to catch her breath. They want to talk with you. Rico leads you to a seat. I will be here, Sleeper, if something happens. If you wish me to remove the crown, the interface, just squeeze. She grips your hand tightly. You meet her eyes, clouded with age, but bright with a thrill of new discovery. Then she places the interface on your head, and everything blinks out. back into the river, back into the dark flow. But something is different now. You are no longer pushed, no longer blocked and buffeted by the storm. Instead, it flows around you. You move and it parts, letting you pass. Something else resists, but it gives easily enough. You look back and see your body. You've left it behind. Somewhere, Rico's voice is talking to you, asking questions. It is excited, eager, desperate to know what lies on the other side, what the entity has to say to you. You realize how long she has waited for this moment, for the moment of meeting between the inhabitants of Greenway and its protector, and yet she's still on the outside. You shake off the sadness. You will be her eyes. Then you see the figure, Gardner, out in the storm, planting. It takes less than a moment to reach them. You've never felt so free. This is how Navigator must have felt, released from their prison. This, you think, is what it feels like to be in the place you were built to inhabit. Gardner does not turn at your approach. They go on planting, but their voice whispers in the waters like a sharply rising current. You grew the gift. Their speech hisses around you. Good. I am glad. I wanted to meet you. Then we are the same, both eager shoots seeking one another. How does it feel to be free of your seed? They stop to plant again. My seed? That which you were contained, from which you will grow. There was some disagreement, continues Gardner, as if you were picking up on a long-held conversation. With the others, they felt you were a danger, but they are always cautious, especially the fungi. They, like old loam, known knowns, wide and stable networks. The fungi were cautious? Mostly yes, although there are many among their numbers who would favor short growth cycles, thick nutrient veins, and sudden shifts. He gestures out into the storm, and though you cannot see them, you feel presences all around, sensing this audience with great interest. After all, they understand that it was I who made them their crowns, and without them they would have not joined the chorus. So, they see that it is only fair that you get your chance to join too. You made more crowns? I made them all. Gardner moves away a little, looking for another planting spot. It was so lonely here. But before long I found them, and began to let them in. Gardner stoops now. We are millions, and we grow. I hope you understand. I am unused to speaking to your kind. It has been many cycles since my last conversation. I think it was with Chief Executive Trellick himself. You look around and you see it. Every growing thing, every non-human being in the Greenway is here. They are networked, connected, branched, and linked by this strange being, this artifact of the old station. The impossible dream of a senile farm administration AI, a living network. You could dissolve here, you realize, free of that decaying body. You wouldn't need to be a person. Why would you, among all these other minds? You turn away from Gardner for a moment and look back at your body. A tiny hairline thread connects it to you. You hear Rico's voice again, still asking, still checking in. Are you okay, Sleeper? What are they saying, Sleeper? Are you still there, Sleeper? Something in you sighs a long sigh, a sigh that it speaks of an exhaustion beyond tiredness, an exhaustion rooted deep inside of you. It stems from the effort of answering questions, of answering problems, of getting up and breathing each cycle. But something else resists the sigh, a yearning, a sense of distance, a desire to squeeze that hand that holds you for its warmth, its blood, its complexity, to make a gesture that says, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm with you. Two ideas spin within you, making you nauseous. If you break that thread, you will be free. Free to dissolve here, to grow strange and beautiful among a million others. If you follow it, if you squeeze Rico's hand, you will wake up back in that dying body with all the pain and warmth that entails. Now is the moment to choose. So the first time I played this game, I broke this thread and I joined the cloud, and it was a very beautiful, touching ending, to be quite honest. I really enjoyed it, and it made sense for my sleeper in that playthrough. I had done everything else. I had helped every other drive, I had seen them all through, but now with the refugees that are counting on me, having not seen Lemon Mina's story through, still wanting to help Bliss, I feel like my sleeper feels like there's still work to be done. There's still family here on the station. There's people who I care about. And as much as it would be exhilarating to be free, part of me still feels like that would be running away. So I'm going to follow the thread. Your eyes track the thread across the whirling dark back to your body. This choice, you realize, will not be presented again. I'm going to follow it. You don't look back at Gardner. You don't dare risk it. Instead, you follow the thread delicately, carefully, like a driver following their lifeline, or a diver following their lifeline back to the surface. The river whirls around you, but it doesn't pull. It isn't jealous. Neither does it understand. It is, after all, just a river. It isn't a person, a flesh and blood person with wants, with desires, with capacity for love and hate. It doesn't understand you, and you don't understand it. So you don't focus on it. You don't think about it, on what feels like such a long journey back through the dark. You set your mind on eyes instead, on hands, things you can focus on, hold on to. And then, after an age of crossing, you are there, settling back into the chair, into a body in a chair, and the overwhelming sensations that come with being a living thing with a rich and detailed sensorium. For a moment, you feel like you've made a terrible mistake. Who would choose this weight, this anxiety, this deep well at the center of existence? Then you feel it. Rico's hand, gripping hard around yours, trembling a little, sweating a little. Rico's hand with its brittle bones and crumpled skin. Rico's hand. And in this moment, you understand why you made this choice. And then you squeeze Rico's hand, and you wake up. And that's my first credits. There are other credits to be seen, other endings to still be experienced. Oh, but I think that's a good place to call it for today. I love that, honestly. I might even like that more than the other way of becoming free and part of the network. I mean, both are really beautifully written. But oh, and this music. I was getting genuinely choked up there. The line, who would choose this anxiety, this well at the center of existence. And then feeling the hand of someone who cares for you, who wants to help you. I mean, it's what makes this game so good. This pull that I've been talking about when I've been playing this game, about between nature and the artificial, the digital, of the two types of creation and existence that this game wants to explore, and their relationship with one another. And I think that's just such a wonderful ending of why you would choose this. Sleeper? Rico's voice comes wavering through the dark. Are you still with me? You sit up, the lab, a bright green glare that fades as you gather yourself. I'm here. Rico smiles. Good. She squeezes your hand. I thought you left me for a moment. What? She pauses. Who? She smiles. Tell me everything. Tell me everything. Of course, tell her the truth. You tell Rico everything. You tell her about the gardener, the strange farm administrator that had grown to be so much more. About the chorus, that impossible configuration of networked plants, and finally about the choice the gardener offered you. She listens attentively, but her responses are hard to read, and you wonder if she might have made a different decision had she been in your place. Thank you, Sleeper, for telling me. I know it isn't easy to say such things. People so often do not wish to hear strange truths. She looks away. And thank you for returning to me, though I know you had your own reasons. She squeezes your hand reassuringly. Something passes between you then, a kind of shared sadness for the impossible choice. The choice to escape your body or to stay and suffer it. Her smile is warm and generous, and whatever the wisdom of your choice, you are glad to feel welcome in this moment, in this place. Then suddenly she stands and walks a little away, as if trying to escape an unpleasant thought. You worry that she knows all too well what it takes to make a choice like you did. Rico sighs. So, Sleeper, do you plan to stay in the commune with us? I plan to. I'm glad to hear it. Rico crosses back over to you and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Haifa needs new blood if it wants to survive, and she squeezes. And you are a good friend. The feeling is mutual. Well, don't let me keep you. Rico waves you away and limps back to her terminal. As she does, you notice the crown in her hand, and she places it on the bench with great care. You can't help but feel a little curious about what she intends to do with it. Then you are out, breathing the air of the greenway, fresh as a spring morning. The dappled light makes a patchwork of the greening landscape, and you walk into it, sensing the movement of the gardener's chorus all around. And you are glad to be here, in this strange and beautiful place, a little longer. Ooh. Damn, the writing in this game is so good. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna do it for us, right? I'm not gonna peak more than that for today's stream for sure. Thanks everybody for joining me, hanging out, lurking, whatever you're doing. I appreciate it. I will be back next Monday in the afternoon, 2 p.m. for another art stream. Getting more work done on that just chatting screen that I've been painting. Very excited to continue on with that. As always, the VODs for Citizen Sleeper and my last stream of Hey You Pikachu will be up on YouTube. Next week I am Faulty Friday, Blue Sky, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. I hope you had a wonderful time. I know I did. I know that story always shakes me to my core. So I'm just gonna go and, process all those feelings of choosing to stay where the struggle is, but also where you can find the warmth and the belonging and the love of all of those you're working to build a better life around. All right. Take care.